All right, here we go. Let's welcome our next fighter making his way to the cage, Rick James.
While we don't have the benefit of the wonderful entertainment value of the musician, we do have the benefit of the wonderful fight value of 5'7", 28-year-old Rick James tonight. With 2 wins and 1 loss, the Riverside fighter from 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and True Warrior Fitness comes in off of a round 1 submission against George Acosta back just a couple of months ago here in 2012. He says it's going to be a good, fast fight, planning on ending it early and taking whatever his opponent, Rob the Boston Strangler Fernandes, gives him.
Yeah, another guy that was really relaxed in the pre-fight talks that we had with these guys. He was joking around even with the commission. He's really comfortable despite going to be at a severe height disadvantage. He was very comfortable with that. In his history, he's won the Tough Enough 145 championship in May, so he's very confident and he's expected to finish.
This was sort of a late change. Rob Fernandes had a different opponent scheduled, and Rick James stepped in a little bit late notice here to pick up the slack. But Rick does have a very, very good reputation here in the Southern California fight community. I was just talking with Mike Frausto from 10th Planet Van Nuys, and he was saying that Rick James is no joke. Rick played football in college at Southern Nazarene University as a free safety and found that it was a seamless transition from football into mixed martial arts. You know, a very similar level of training, very similar stress on the body.
Right, and very used to getting hit.
And that's one of the important things. Right,
football players, when they come into the game, most of them are used to taking big hits, so they're not afraid of impact. They're not going to cower away when they get touched.
Now, despite the fact that Rick James is 5'7" and Fernandes is 6'2", James has his advantages, his height.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's part of him being relaxed.
And his opponent making his way to the cage, Rob the Boston Strangler Fernandes.
Now, while he might be the Boston Strangler, Rob Fernandes has quickly become a local favorite, probably in part, if not heavily due to his relaxed, at times silly attitude. The guy's quite a joker, the 6'2", 28-year-old fighter. While from Boston's currently fighting out of Los Angeles, California with System 8 and RC Soma. You know, some jiu-jitsu background, a couple years of Muay Thai, and coming most recently off of a win against the aforementioned Mike Frausto.
That's right. We saw him last year at the U of MMA cage. Had a nice gritty decision win, and this may be his last amateur fight, if I'm not mistaken. We were chatting earlier. He was going to go pro. He wanted to do one more in the U of MMA cage.
Well, you know, we'll be sad to lose him if he goes on, but Rob Fernandes is a talented fighter. You know, he likes to just stand and punch people in the face, and he predicts a first-round KO.
Yeah, he did deal with a little bit of adversity with some personal issues back east that took him away from training in the final run-up, the final week into the fight. But he accepted it. He knows he's well-trained. He knows he's ready to go. And I saw him a couple days ago, and his focus was still all there. I mean, he was a fun, affable guy, as you mentioned, but very focused, and he didn't let his personal distractions get in the way of his training.
You know, a big difference, last time we saw him fight, he'd been sick that week. You know, while Rob's not making excuses, coming in with any sort of illness, at the very minimum, is a big mental disadvantage, if not just a physical disadvantage.
Right, Rob proves he can deal with adversity. The Boston Strangler and his friends get to see him again.
Now, for those of you who are curious, that beard is just a month and a half of growth. It's one of his better qualities, that he is a quick and avid beard grower. Now, while Rick James said that he had the height, his advantage was his height, Rob the Boston Strangler Fernandes also says his advantage is the height. He's going to bring that straight to him, and he is not worried about those close-in exchanges. Now, the first time that Rob ran into the gym, he started training because he was bored and walked into the gym in jean shorts and a t-shirt, which begs the question, where do you still buy jean shorts?
Shorts? I think any John Cena fan, Bret Hart, you might, you know, at the shops, wherever the wrestlers get them from, you can get some shorts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Our next fight is brought to you by Sapporo Beer. Fight is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds at a catch weight of 150 pounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, a jiu-jitsu fighter. Brings a record of 2 wins and 1 loss to the cage. His 2 wins coming by by way of submission. He stands at 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing at 151.2 pounds, representing true warrior fitness from San Bernardino, California, Rick James. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the blue corner, a fight science fighter. Brings a record of 2 wins and 1 loss to the cage. Stands at 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighing at 151.6 pounds. Representing Systems 8 from Taunton, Massachusetts, Rob the Boston Strangler Fernandes. Man in charge of the action, Red Francisco.
So Rick James in the red corner, Rob the Boston Strangler Fernandes in the blue corner. 2 guys who really love to scrap. You know, Rob said that the first fight came when his uncle forced him to fight when he was just 9 years old. Because that's the way they do it in Boston. That was the worst Boston accent of all time, but I'll stand by it.
Boy, good low leg kick to start things off.
You can already see a difference in the pep and the step of Rob from the last time he fought. You know, that illness might have played a role in his slower pace last time.
Rick's kind of feeling out the distance right now.
You know, one thing I've noticed so far is these 2 guys have locked eyes. They are staring deep into the windows of the soul.
Great balance by the Strangler to avoid being taken off his, taken to the mat when he was off his feet there. And a strong body lock from James. Rick looks really strong here. He's able to pick up Rob with ease.
But Rob has some really great hips, defending both those takedowns. It seemed sure, and now we have him in side control.
Yeah, on cue, that was a beautiful body lock takedown. He just mentioned his hips, and he used those to get that beautiful takedown and land into a dominant position. He's going to look to mount. He has a knee on belly. Oh, and he's right under the arm. He's looking for, I believe that's a,
Well, he lost the first hand position, but
a Darce-esque type choke he was working there.
here they in some hand fighting. Pummel, pummel. Rick sending a knee right to the breadbasket. You know, it seems very clear Rick does not want any distance in this fight.
Yeah, smart move to keep the distance closed. And that would be the 6th takedown we've seen that ended up in a disadvantageous position for the one that initiated it. I'm keeping count of those.
Well, you know, I've heard that is the new trend in combat sports, is trying to end up on the bottom when you take people down.
Yeah, it's like crisscross back in the 90s, right? Inside out, wiggity, 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 whack.
You know, I think that whack might be the most apt term for ending up on the bottom when you go for a throw. Now, one thing I want to pay attention to, though, is when they get tied up in those clinches, while Rick has been going for those big sort of Greco-style throws, Rob's been putting that foot over, looking for a hip toss continuously.
Yeah, and he's getting those. I mean, he got one big one, and he ended up on top on the bottom. Those are going to be what gave him that last round, in my opinion. Now, as we talked about the scoring earlier, we've seen a lot of different scores. The decisions have gone directionally where we thought. And I think that was Rob's round due to the takedowns and the dominant positioning.
You know, you would think so, but on the flip side, you have the idea that Rick was controlling the center of the cage and controlling Rob's body more.
That's true.
And so, again, you never know where those half points can go. All right, here we go again. Rob Fernandes in the blue, Rick James in the red, round 2. And now we have Rob pumping that jab early.
And as you noted right away, Rick James closed the distance and is attacking a single leg.
And now he gets that slam he was looking for. Big slam, but look how quickly Rob ducks under, goes after a leg.
Oh, and he has both hooks in. Rick has both hooks in. He took the back with both hooks in. You see Rob starting to try and turn around. Very dominant control position for Rick James right now. And the 5 fingers are saying something to the face.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm Rick James, is what it's saying.
Now, Rick looking like he was appealing to the referee there, though, but referee doing a good decision of not intervening.
Ooh, sorry to cut you off there. His arm almost went under the chin, which would have been huge. These are powerful shots. He's really bothering Rob right now with these body shots. And he has the arm under the throat. This choke looks secured.
Rick goes palm to palm and coaxes the tap out. Round 2 rear naked choke. Adachi Mei submission for Rick James.
Yeah, that was really nice. He showed the power when he got that single leg, a huge slam, immediately put the hooks in, demonstrated his, very skillful grappling, flattened him out, pounded him out, got the arm under the neck, and finished with a strong choke.
Now you also see the very, very important choice. He was going for that traditional put the arm in the crook of the elbow and then move the hand behind, and then he quickly switched to that palm to palm when he realized he couldn't get it.
Yeah, you switch to the gable grip either when they pull the arm that's on top of the head. If you leave it up there, the one reason you want to put it behind the neck so they can't pull it off. However, if your opponent does pull it off your head, that's when you switch right to gable grip and finish, or if you're just having trouble getting it behind the neck. So it's a classic textbook use of jiu-jitsu to finish that fight.
Before we heard Rick James is no joke, and that's absolutely true. Rick James now 2 wins in a row, extends his record to 3-1, while Rob Fernandes falls to 2-2 here in KAMA-regulated fights.
Yeah, it was really impressive work from Rick James, and there's that huge slam again. And you can see he starts attacking the neck immediately when he gets the hooks. He flattens out the body, realizes he's not going to get the choke, and starts excuse me, that was the end, with the arm under the throat. And let's take a look at the slam.
Here again, and notice the difference there, not going after the hips, instead going under the legs, not getting Rob that opportunity to hip out and get away from that balance.
And this is an example where his height was his advantage, because when he was down that low, he didn't have to bend down or he already had a taller opponent above him, and he was already at a lower center of gravity, which allowed him to immediately, boom, pick up Rob and slam him to the ground.
And there you go. The man who is a whole, I'm bad at math today, 7 inches shorter than his opponent.
And the height was his advantage in that slam. Good call by Rick James and a strong finish.
And now with our official decision, Salvatore Ariano.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the third man in the ring, Red Francisco, brings the fight to a halt 1 minute 9 seconds into the second round. For your winner by way of tap out due to rear naked choke, out of the red corner, Rick James.
Rick, congratulations. How you feeling?
Rick James feels good.
Does Rick James feel good? Now, you stepped in at the last minute to take this fight. Didn't seem to affect you at all. You came to that second round and owned it. Walk us through it.
Well, Rick James came out. Rick James landed a couple punches. Then Rick James landed the slam. And from there, it was the beginning to the end. Rick James just took the neck.
And does Rick James want to say anything to his supporters and teammates?
I would like to thank all my supporters, all my teammates. The Rick James team just went 6-0 right now. We got one more. And then we're going to do what they do. True Warrior Nation, stand up.
Give it up for him. He fought a good fight, Rick James.
Your winner by submission, Rick James.
Oh, that's funny. That's Super Freak played him out. That's classic. Classic.
That slam was super freaky.